to take us live on the YouTube channel with the YouTube live stream that is in the process of going live. And we are there now. Okay. 6 minutes after 8 on this Wednesday, December the 24th, 2025, aka Christmas Eve. 334-875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. You can also join us live on the selmapostherald.com YouTube channel. And I am going to start sending out some other ways to be able to get the link. Let me stop and say thank you, by the way, to, the YouTube channel for selmapostherald.com has significantly increased in terms of the number of subscribers. And the subscription doesn't cost you anything. I've been made aware that sometimes people, when they're going on the YouTube channel, I think they're being asked to subscribe, but it's okay. It didn't cost you anything. It's free. It's another one of us. We're the free press. Selma Post Herald is the free press. I wonder if the Detroit Free Press is free. I doubt it, folks. I've been meaning to do that one day, but anyway, that's another story. But but thank you for a lot of things. Let me thank our audience for participating and being supportive and listening. And I understand, like I say, I run into people all the time who say that they listen every morning. Many people listen every day, and I'm flattered. But again, it makes me work harder and rededicate to. I don't want to say perfection. Professionalism, I think, is probably a better word. And on that note, we got our own Christmas gift in the repairs that were made on yesterday to our transmitter site and tower for WHBB. So we should be coming in a lot clearer and stronger and back in many of the areas that, I know from time to time somebody will call and say, we really miss being able to hear you in a particular area. And it was because of some of the technical issues that we had, but that is no longer the case. And so many of those areas where the reception was either weak or it stopped we should be back in business, huh? And so I want to thank you again for your support and for listening and for supporting our advertisers because that's how we get things done. It's all about investing in our local communities. And it's a full circle, many of the locally owned businesses and some of the businesses that are not locally owned that have managers that have some discretion with how they can do their budgets consistently. I see a number of businesses that are very supportive of the Selma and Dallas County community and surrounding areas. And when you see that should give us even more of an incentive to spend money locally because that's how they afford to be able to put money back in the community by us supporting them financially. And it's a win-win scenario. You get the product you're after, and at the same time, they turn right back around and invest in our communities. We have some good corporate sponsors. I can't say enough for many of the other businesses that are not retail oriented. They have their headquarters here or their manufacturing operation here. And, we certainly can't say enough about the Craig Airport Authority, and the industrial park, the Dallas County Industrial Park at Craig. I mean, those are valuable, extremely valuable assets to our community. I know many of us like to spend most of our time complaining and trying to figure out the negative, but there's a lot of positive things happening too. I like to focus. I like to focus more on the positive. Deal with the negative when necessary. You know what I mean? But the glass is half full. I am a self-described optimist, which basically means I'm always looking for the silver lining, in the cloud. And I encourage others to do the same. We've got a lot of good things happening. Let me compliment Mayor Johnny Moss III. And, to give you an example of why, yesterday he made himself available at the fire that took place, that happened on the old Montgomery Highway. And some of the media are already describing that area as South Selma. Well, for some this in the police jurisdiction, the zip code is 36701, and it's been that way since I can remember, since I was a child and before I was born. And so, in many people's minds, that portion of Selmont is Selma. And so, Mayor Moss made himself available and showed his sensitivity to the terrible tragedy that happened on yesterday, on the old Montgomery Highway. 64-year-old woman, Miss Nedleen Gordon, passed away. And she was a grandmother who had been living in the home for more than 20 years. He said that the mayor said that the loss had deeply impacted not only the family, but the surrounding neighborhood. And there's been a couple of other events I've seen Mayor Moss at when it's related to tragedies. He's very visible in showing his sensitivity and support. And so I appreciate it. That's how the narrative changes. We talk about how do you change the narrative? Well, part of changing the narrative is through our actions. And I'm not being critical of anyone else in any other administrations or any other elected official, but I am pointing out that Mayor Moss has made himself visible. Now, there may be other mayors who maybe they did something behind closed doors or quietly. I don't know. But I know what this mayor is starting to do, and I think it's a good start. It's a good step in the right direction, especially as it relates to transparency. And remember last week, the mayor's office issued the press release about the Walk for Peace with the Buddhist monks, and we had traffic advisories. Now, that may sound crazy to some, but I think I got a good laugh out of it with a few people, that I know. Hey, it's like if you know that there's a planned event or an event that's scheduled for a certain area that's going to affect the traffic, then it's a courtesy, not a requirement, but it's good public relations to advise your drivers and the community and the traffic that there's going to be some disruptions in traffic. There's nothing worse than to be headed somewhere, trying to get somewhere on time and have an unexpected planned delay. And so if I had known that the street was going to be closed in time, I could have saved myself 20 minutes. And I wouldn't have been late for my employment. I wouldn't have lost that job interview that I was trying to get to in time. But the street was closed and I didn't know it. I'm just saying. I mean, that's some of the kind of things that can possibly happen, right? And so the mayor's office sent the press release out, and lo and behold, when I came down to the area around between 1 and 3, Water Avenue was shut down. Part of the bridge, where they were experiencing delays. Well, that's what they said was going to happen, right? And so, but being able to plan for it makes all the difference in the world. So I compliment Mayor Moss and his administration, the office, on doing that. I think that's really those are critical strategic public information practices. And if you notice, Mayor Reed in Montgomery, he's been from the time that he hit the ground. That's what he did in practice and still does. Did you see him over? He was with the monks also in Montgomery on yesterday. He had some pretty good footage with them, so that's a good thing. We've got some positive things happening. This has been some year. A lot has happened, but we're making progress. Sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. I am noticing the work, of course, on Highway 80. It was a rough start. It started off rough, but it's getting better every day. And I would imagine that probably the weather slowed them down too. But they got back started again earlier this week. And I think they're going to probably stop for a couple of days until after the holidays. But it's a much smoother ride on 80. The lighting, of course, between the curb market and the foot of the bridge makes a significant difference, And then the streets in Selma have been paved. Now I heard somebody say something about the roads in Selmont, but have you forgotten? Our memories are convenient, but have we forgotten that just a couple of years ago, within the last couple of years, the Kingsbend Road, the Quarters, Tipton area, all of those areas, and Craig, some of the Craig also have been resurfaced. Those are new roads. That's progress. And so I know it's easier to complain and not acknowledge when something positive is happening. And the same is true in downtown Selma. Now I've been on my scooter, and it's a much smoother ride downtown. I've even used the bicycle lanes, and I hadn't hit a significant pothole, no sinkhole. It had gotten to the point where the potholes were becoming sinkholes. The whole scooter, the whole motorcycle go inside a hole. You had to climb out of the hole. Well, I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. You know what I mean? But we're making progress. And I understand that there'll be some more streets paved in Selma. So that's a good thing. I think we have a bright future, but it's not going to happen without some work and some blood, sweat, and tears, as they say, And so either I'm going to be a part of the problem or a part of the solution. And I prefer to be a part of the solution. That's more. Merry Christmas, Dee Dee. You're looking awfully Christmassy. That's one of our staff. She says it's hard to dress this time of year, the way the weather's been the last couple of days. But she's been looking awfully Christmassy the last couple of days. Let me say good morning again to Miss Maddie Peak. How are you, Miss Peak? And Miss Lucy Hasbury, good morning to you. And Miss Lola Hatcher of Blaney's Barbecue. I understand she's on the mend, concerned about Miss Hatcher. Beautiful person. I don't forget. And again, we have convenient memories. But remember, Miss Hatcher took care of Miss Annie Cooper to the day she died. We talk a whole lot of trash. I hear people talk a whole lot of trash about how community oriented they are, but Miss Hatcher didn't just talk a talk; she walked the walk, huh? And so I appreciate that, and her whole family, and the Laney's barbecue family, and Laney's too. Also, I'll never forget Earl. Golly, Earl was a friend. And so, and him and his daughter and wife and family, Laney's too, on the Medical Center Parkway. Let's not forget about them and support them as well, right? Let's take this break, and I'll be back with more after these messages. If you're considering home renovation, restoration, or construction of a brand new home from the foundation up, it's very important that you choose the right contractor from the start. That's why you should contact Steve Johnson at Renovation Plus. Renovation Plus specializes in all phases of home repair, paint, and remodel. Take down this phone number, 334-412-1939. Steve Johnson at Renovation Plus. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Listen to this Renovation Plus customer. This is Sandra with Cornerstone Realty. He works very well with his clients. If he says he's going to be there, he's going to be there. He does excellent work. And he also is more than just a carpenter. He's more a craftsman. Renovation Plus will respect your home, helping keep it clean and neat with minimal disturbance during construction. Call Steve at Renovation Plus, 334-412-1939. We're with Barry Parker and our friends at Reliable Chevrolet and GMC. 80 years, Barry.
That's right, George. We've been right here at the same location at 14th Lawrence Street. Also the same family, the Ford family. Bill is here and has his two sons, John and Will, and soon they'll be taking over, so there'll be a third generation that has had the ownership of Reliable Chevrolet GMC.
Now let's talk about what's going on with Chevrolet and GMC. We're coming up on the end of the year. Big time discounts on the 25 that you got left.
That's right, George. We're moving them out right and left. If you're in the market for a 2025 model, then we encourage you to come down, get them while they're still available, because the 26s are here and we've got more coming. So you got to make room. Whatever your transportation needs are, we can take care of them right here. And let us get you fixed up so you can be riding today.
Not forget about the pre-owned side and service.
That's right. We've got all kind of makes and models on the pre-owned inventory, from cars to trucks to SUVs. And when it comes to getting the vehicle service, we have the top service department in Central Alabama right here at Reliable GMC.
And is that quick oil change Viewpoint?
Always free, not just your first shift, every shift oil change, regardless of how many vehicles you have in the family, each one stands on its own.
To get in touch with Reliable Chevrolet and GMC, what do we do?
872-2337. Check us out on the website at reliablegmc.com. Or best, just come visit us right here at 14th Lawrence Street in downtown Selma.
Reliable, where they truly have it all.
Good morning, I'm Melanie Davis with WSFA 12 Newsroom. Heartbreaking news just 2 days before Christmas. A woman died in a house fire. 54-year-old Lorene Gordon died in a fire in South Selma on Lansing Avenue in Essendon neighborhood off Montgomery Highway. And new concerns this morning after a deadly house fire in Montgomery over the weekend that killed an 8-year-old boy, his sister, and an adult family member are still in critical condition. Turns out the city was already suing Woodley Terrace Apartments because of poor living conditions. City council members voted unanimously in 2023 to file a civil lawsuit against the owners and managers of Woodley Terrace, Woodley Gardens, and Woodley Oaks. And that lawsuit was settled, with owners required to inspect every unit, identify deficiencies, and verify repairs directly with tenants and the city. Investigators are still working to determine what caused that fire this weekend. City leaders say further legal action could come. I'm Bethany Davis from WSFA 12 Newsroom.
1490 WHBB. Good morning. On this Wednesday morning, December the 24th, and of course, this is Christmas Eve. Tomorrow's Christmas. Next week, New Year's Eve, and then a brand new year. But we have a lot to be thankful for. Those of us who have made it through this year, and there's much more to be thankful for. I'm thankful for the graces of God, and of course, the reason for the season is the birth of Jesus Christ. Now, I know everybody is not a Christian, And there are even some who say they're Christian who aren't. But that's another sermon, right? I'd rather see a sermon than hear one, right? But anyway, but let's be thankful for what we've got. If you have a roof over your head and you're not starving and we're not war torn, although we do have some individuals in our community who are acting like they're at war, and I don't know, maybe it's just not just, but maybe it's spiritual warfare, people doing some wicked things, when you just shoot somebody and stab somebody, take a life, that's wicked, that's bottom line. But that, again, is another story. But I think we have a lot to be thankful for. And we also, from an economic and infrastructural standpoint, and political standpoint in Selma and Dallas County, we've got new businesses opening up. Look at what's happening in Valley Grande. Let me compliment Mayor Hatfield. Look, the parking lots are being paved and striped, and the improvements to the park, the sportsplex, their sports and walking trail, in Valley Grande. That's good. That's positive for Dallas County. Somewhere else to go and somewhere else safe to do something with your family and with our families. And so, I don't like to get into that negative thing all the time. And then this time of year can be very depressing. A lot of people get depressed because they may not be in a relationship, or the relationship that they're in, romantic relationship, may not be at its best. Well, you can correct that as long as you're alive. And many people will miss loved ones who are no longer with us. But I try to focus in on, again, the positive, and dwell on the good memories of those people who have passed on, instead of the negative. The negative will lead to depression. And the other thing that can lead to depression is focusing on what I don't have, right? Well, if you're not in a relationship and you don't have one and you're by yourself, you may want to thank the Lord because you don't have to worry about somebody worrying you to death if it's the wrong person, right? Now, if it's the right one, yeah, that's all good. Enjoy that partner that you have, and let them know that you love them and appreciate them and show it. You know what I mean? But this time of year, people do get depressed, and it seems like any tragedy is even magnified around Christmas with deaths. And so, if you're in that situation, if you've lost a loved one to death in your family or friends, then you're in my prayers, and be encouraged. Try not to get down and depressed to where it's unhealthy. Yeah. Now, I have a personal philosophy about depression, and I say 10% down. 90% of the time, I think it's healthy for me to be up and positive. But every once in a while, depression will make me think, kind of reevaluate where I'm at. So maybe it's healthy to have a little bit of depression from time to time, but not to dwell in it, and certainly not to become dependent upon any foreign drugs or anything else, depending on it to get you out of depression. No, it needs to be a natural process of healing, internal healing, and know how to pamper yourself. So you got to pamper yourself sometime.
With Barry Parker and our friends at Reliable Chevrolet and GMC, 80 years, Barry.
That's right, George. We've been right here at the same location at 14th Lawrence Street. Also the same family, the Porter family. Bill is here and has his two sons, John and Will. And soon they'll be taking over, so there'll be a third generation that has had the ownership of Reliable Chevrolet GMC.
Now,
All right. We sound like a new station.
We're coming up on the end of the year. Big time discounts.
I hope so too. You get a commercial? Yes, sir.
I'll come back and say that.
Oh, good. Yeah.
25 model, let me encourage you to come here, get them while they're still available, because the 26s are here and we've got more coming, so we got to make room. Whatever your transportation needs are, we can take care of them right here. and let us get you fixed up so you can be riding today.
Not forget about the pre-owned side and service.
That's right. We've got all kind of makes and models on the pre-owned inventory, from cars to trucks to SUV. And when it comes to getting your vehicle serviced, we have the top service department in Central Alabama, right here at Reliable Chevrolet GMC.
And is that fifth oil change still free?
Always free, not just your first fifth, every fifth oil change. Regardless of how many vehicles you have in the family, each one stands on its own.
To get in touch with Reliable Chevrolet and GMC, what do we do?
872-2337, or check us out on our website at reliableGMC.com, or best, just come visit us right here at 14th Florence Street in downtown Selma.
At Reliable, where they truly have it all. How's your circulation? Do you suffer from fatigue, leg cramp, weakness, pain in your legs and walking?
He hadn't got the camera on his chair.
No, sir. It's on the logo. Yeah. How you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm moving kind of slow.
Yeah, join the club.
Let's see if I can stir up something.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, well,
Where's my old buddy, the
Other factors include high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, smoking, and high cholesterol. All big contributors to poor circulation and vascular problems. Not to mention,
I don't know. We're still on. You know, you can think people can still hear you. So
yeah.
Oh.
Call 334-801-9952 and online at alabamavascularspecialist.com.
1490 WHBB, and we've been joined by the new Santa Claus, Mike Reynolds. Hey man, how you doing?
I am so far removed from Santa Claus.
Yeah, but you got grandkids though, so I know they're looking to you for a whole lot of stuff, huh? How they doing?
You know, everybody's good. Yeah, it's blessed.
And Reynolds, man, he's almost as tall as you are, huh?
He's shooting on up there pretty good.
My goodness,
Yeah.
I saw him at the doing when we had the night at the carnival, and I said carnival, the fair, and oh man, I was really impressed. He's really nice and mannerable, and respectful, and
He
you
better
know.
be.
Yeah. Well, somebody's doing a good job, huh?
Absolutely.
Give
credit to his parents and his other grandparents. But all the kids, they're good kids. The key to that whole thing, they're in church every Sunday. We try to solve the problems of the world and all the things that are wrong with what we see and what we do, and
Right.
what we hear and what we talk about.
Right.
The best way, the easiest way to solve all those problems is to be in God's house at least once a week, if not more. Period.
Simple as that. And give them some sort of a moral foundation, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you're in church. You're not dealing with drug dealers. You're not dealing basically with the criminal element, the people that are out shooting up the neighborhoods. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It comes back to family. It's real simple. People try to
overthink it, huh?
think the problems of society today. It's just basically simple. Just drop back, get on your knees, thank the Lord for who you are, what you have, and be in His house as often as you can.
Yes, sir.
Bottom line.
Yeah, that's the bottom line.
And then we wouldn't have the problems we have.
How's your year been? How have we done this year? How are we doing?
It's okay. The economy is stable, I think, would be the best way to describe it. Prices are still way too high. I'm waiting on Trump to pull the train into the shed. Hadn't done that yet. Although gas
It's
prices,
coming down. There's a few things
gas
that are down.
prices have come down.
Yeah.
But it still costs you a fortune to live and exist. Utility cost is
Going
way
up.
too high.
Mm.
Thankfully, Alabama Power said they're not going to have any price increase for a year or two. You know, my concerns are basically about the economy and the future of who we are, what we do. I'm not talking about Selma.
Mm-hmm.
I think Selma's going to be fine. I'm very happy with Skip Walsh.
So am I. He's, you know, he's been very early. He's been visible. You know, he's out there.
Yeah, and you know the contrast between he and Mayor Perkins. Mayor Perkins played more an executive type role, where he wasn't out
Hands
moving
on.
and grooving with the people.
Mm.
Skip's been to everything that's come up in the last couple of months since he's been in office. So I'm very proud of him. I think he's going to do fine. The bottom line on him is he doesn't have a tremendous ego that gets in the way of making the people happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to play well to his success in office.
Mm.
So anyway, I just dropped by to say Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's always
Thank
good
you for doing what you do.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And thank you for the repairs that we just got on yesterday.
We were, you know, when you're taking electricity and shoving it through a piece of equipment, you're going to have issues from time to time. And we had some issues related to wind back several months ago. So we think we've got that fixed.
I hope so. And so people don't know. I mean, you could put that kind of metal up a couple of 100 feet in the air. Anything is possible, huh? With the wind and.
Well, you do, and things up there you don't get to touch every day. And I'm not about to touch.
I wouldn't.
So you don't know. And in this case, we had some deterioration of some metal components that had to be cleaned up. And
anybody can't just touch that stuff.
Well, you don't see that,
mm-hmm.
You know, and you start seeing different electronic readings on the ground that lets you know something's not right.
Right.
And we've dealt with that for a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we're back up.
Well, good. Well, I certainly hope you and your family have a Merry Christmas and holiday season.
Well, let me ask you this. 2026. I don't want everything to be, as they used to say, butterflies and pansies, because this show doesn't do well when everything is
it's too smooth, huh?
Yeah. So what are you going to stir up in 2026?
I'm trying to be peaceful, but if I want to stir anything up, all I have to do is say one name: Donald Trump. That has stirred up for a while, whether it's founded or unfounded.
So what's he going to name after himself today?
I hear people say that, but I mean, every president has the right to do whatever. But his board on the Kennedy Center, they didn't take Kennedy's name off; they added his name, and so it's the Trump Kennedy Center. You know,
but they didn't do that while Kennedy was in office. My God, that came like a lot of things with presidents
after they die, huh?
Posthumously.
Yeah, well, they tried to take him out before, so I guess he said, well, I better do this while I can.
They didn't add on the Mount Rushmore while
no, don't say that.
While the guys were still in office.
Don't mention Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's coming. It's coming.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm sorry. I do. I like President Trump. I like what he's doing.
Well, I'm with you. I cannot imagine any president being more proactive toward putting the United States of America number one.
First. Mm-hmm.
That's
the bottom line.
That's a big deal for me.
Right. Yeah.
But I can't fathom the thought of anybody having any bigger of, and we were talking about
ego,
any bigger of an ego than the guy with the
fluffy hair. But I guess if I had done the skyline for New York City, if I was responsible for building the skyline of New York, I'd have an ego too. I'd have to have a little bit of an ego. Don't you think he deserves a little?
Well, I think they all, to run for the office.
You got to have an ego, yeah.
But ego out of control is
That's a whole nother. Oh, how about our friend, our boy, Senator Tommy Tuberville? It looks like he's going to become the governor. I remember because you brought him to Dallas County when he was running for senator, and I remember his speech and how he talked about, he knew it was going to be difficult to get things through the Senate as a new senator. But so I kind of read him becoming governor as he can get more things done for the state of Alabama as governor.
Well, and the thing with Coach, he is the same guy he was 6 years ago when I introduced him to you for the first time.
Yes, sir.
He hadn't changed.
No.
And I still communicate with him. Obviously, not as much as I did at one time,
right,
because he's a busy guy.
Right.
But he is super responsive, and I don't bug him. I don't have a petty point to make with
right.
him. So basically, I'll leave him alone. I'll send him a rah-rah if he's on Fox and does a good job, or I'll send him a scathing note if he screws something up. But he's the same guy he was. He's very much interested in the good of the order. And he didn't need the money. He didn't need the fame.
Right.
He had all that through coaching football. And so
and then we got Space Force in Huntsville. I noticed a couple of weeks ago, Congresswoman Sewell was with the full Democratic and Republican delegation. They took a picture under the new banner for Space Force, and I'm hoping that we'll see more bipartisan cooperation.
Well, and you and I both know Terry Sewell, Congresswoman Sewell. We know her to be a good person
and intelligent,
and super intelligent. Where'd she go to school?
She went to Harvard. No, I think she went to Oxford.
No, Princeton.
She also went to Oxford though, and Princeton or Harvard. One of them.
Super smart. Maybe the smartest person ever left the public school system here in Selma.
Mm-hmm.
So no doubt about her intelligence, her smarts. But Randy, and let's face it, in the demographical region where she is elected,
she's got to be Democrat.
Well, she's got to be careful.
Mm.
I mean, she can't appear to be too
bipartisan,
friendly with competition,
right?
And so
that's unfortunate.
It is to a degree, but Terry has done a really good job in the role that she has been cast in, and it's a difficult place.
I know it is.
So it's not. I'm not trying to defend her. She can do that on her own without my assistance. But my point is, she is elected in the situation that she's in with the demographics that exist around her, and she's got to do what is important if she wants to continue to get elected.
Right.
She can't just go lay down and be at Trump's feet when he decides he wants to move the Space Force or the next Cabbage Patch to Alabama.
Right.
So it's a difficult role that she plays, but I'm not going to quote anybody, but there are people in Washington that I'm close to, as you well know, that are complimentary of Terry Sewell. So, all in all, I think we got some good pieces in place.
Right.
We got good ties to Coach Tuberville, who has excellent ties to President Trump. We've got close ties to Terry Sewell, and there's not going to be a Democratic governor elected in Alabama probably in our lifetime, only because statewide the votes aren't there, period. And there are a lot of folks that would love to have a Democratic governor. And I serve some Democratic governors, as you well know.
Right.
So, but in our lifetime, in the next 15, 20 years, it's going to be an anomaly if we should see a Democratic governor running the state of Alabama. So where we are right now, I think is pretty darn good. Close friends and economic development. I'll tell you one other point to make quickly, and that's Wayne Barterman, my My Sunday school classmate and my good friend is retired.
You know, his grandchildren, man, first class, the way they are very mannerable, you know?
Oh, yeah, great family.
You know,
Wayne's a great guy. Paul, his wife, is awesome. We had breakfast in our Sunday school class this past Sunday. But the point is, Wayne's retiring. They have gone out and found the perfect replacement.
Who?
Brenda Tuck.
No!
Brenda has been working in economic development for the last, 25 years.
Look, we've crossed paths a few. As a matter of fact, the last time I saw her, I was in Auburn, at Auburn University with her. I guess it was not this year, maybe last year.
You talking about somebody who gets some
Oh
stuff
my
done.
goodness, yeah.
Brenda will wear you out.
And she knows her stuff, huh?
Oh my gosh. Be careful how you volunteer.
Made in Alabama. Made in Alabama.
Well, she has, we've got business ties to West Alabama.
Right.
After she left Selma, she was involved in the economic development effort over here. She moved to Marengo County and ran that economic development
out of Linden, right?
But that was that. The plan for that EDA over there was put together by Wayne Barber.
I didn't know that.
Brenda Tuck got that job and did amazing things in Marengo County, of all places, which is sparsely populated.
Yeah, but it's on the move now, huh?
But she put some stuff together in, of all places, Thomaston, Alabama, which is nothing but a blinking caution light.
I know that's
well,
right.
I think they got one traffic signal. And then she got a job with the state, working with the regional councils for workforce development.
Right.
So she's got friends in high places.
Right.
She once was involved in the effort over in Opelika and Auburn in Lee County. So she's got ties. She's got connections.
She's going to be great. That's a great asset.
We've got resources.
Goodness.
And as Wayne Vardaman and I were talking Sunday morning in Sunday school, we started talking about EDA. We potentially, I know folks are going to laugh. They're going to throw rocks at the radio when I say this, and I'm okay with that. But Wayne and I both agree. We potentially have the best workforce in the Southeast. We have got to initiate and develop the right training. We got good friends like Ed Castile over in Montgomery with the Department of Commerce. Ed's the smartest guy in the state. He's survived 8 governors.
He's smart.
He's a cabinet level appointee.
Wow.
And he's gone from Jim Folsom to Don Siegelman to Bob Riley.
From Democrat to Republican.
Up the ladder. And he's survived because he's smart. And they know he's smart. He understands the value of what we have here in Dallas County. And despite the bad press with Selma, despite the bad vibes you get because the streets ain't paved and the garbage.
But it's happening. I mentioned it earlier. It's starting to happen.
He knows what the resources are here. We've got to get behind that community college.
Right.
And that community college has got to fast track the training. Now, I'll tell you a comparison. We've got ties also to Prattville. Central Alabama Community College is on fire.
They're on the move, huh?
They have a new campus in Prattville. And guess what they're trying to do? Ain't a done deal yet. They are trying to build and help fund a $150 million new high school, or Prattville High School, on the campus of Central Alabama Community College.
Wow, now that would be strong.
Excuse me, got a little head thing. So my point is, Brenda is going to do a phenomenal job.
And what about Demopolis and the new medical high school that's coming up?
Well, and that's a great thing for Demopolis. Wallace College is involved in that. They're the 2-year college involved
Component.
in the training
Mhm.
process.
Mhm.
So those medical professionals will at some point come through their curriculums or curricula, I should say.
Mhm.
There is no word as
And what about the
curriculums.
air pilot training and the mechanical training out of the the work that's being done with Craig Airport Authority? My gosh.
Well, there's some infrastructure things that need to happen for Craig to explode like it needs to explode. And one of those being the tarmacs are not the right concrete load bearing that they need to be for the big jets. I know that's a problem. The runways are fine. 8,000 foot runway is great. Yes.
But it needs to be able to handle more weight, huh?
Has done a great job.
And I think they just got another $2 million this year for something.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's for, but yeah. Jim and the guys.
And his son is getting ready to take over.
First of the year, I think.
Yeah, I got to go. I haven't been out in a while. I got to go and meet him and see Jim also.
Best political hire we've ever made in Dallas County. Jim is a heck of a guy. And I don't know his son. I think I met him once.
But he's got a similar background, though, huh?
Yeah,
I mean, in terms of you training.
They flew F-16s together.
Goodness, wow.
So, and then Jim went on to fly for Delta for a number of years.
Right.
Like I said, when it first happened, gosh, that's a novel idea. You get a fly guy
to do an airport.
With an airport. Wow, how could that be? So anyway, yeah, that's a good that's a good deal out there. And yeah, the air traffic control training program.
Oh my goodness!
I'm not sure where we are on that. I hadn't heard much about it lately.
Yeah, but
maybe
it's been doing pretty good. Yeah, I need to go out and see what's going on. But I know one thing: when the government shut down a couple of months back, I'm sure that they were perking up out there because of the lack of air traffic controllers. And boom, we got them being trained right here in Selma.
And I don't know, I'm not up to speed on the training
on the technology.
Process.
I've been out there.
I don't know how much. I don't know where they go when they get through.
They can do anything, and they can almost control anything from anywhere in the world, right from here.
Well, I'm saying that. I'm talking about when the kids finish program.
Oh yeah.
What's happening with that? Air traffic controllers are trained. Are they ready to hit the workforce? Can they go to Atlanta and handle a 747 or a A380 come in on final approach? I don't know.
But that's a good story. I'm going to get an update and find out what's going on with them. But that's what I'm just saying. We got a lot of good things, in Dallas County.
Well, we got to overcome the stigma of Selma. That's a stigma word. Selma is in a lot of places a bad word. And it just is. It's not me and you.
Right.
It's
the narrative.
Of the world looking at it.
Yeah. Right.
They see the rich folks come here once a year, and leave their jet trail and they fly off in their private jets without leaving anything behind. But then again, to defend that, we've got to prove that we deserve it. We've got to change the culture. We've got to upgrade the education system, and they're doing good things at the city school system. Our new superintendent, I think, is a great hire. I met him a couple of times. Seems like he's got it together. We got to get, the school system has got to be really a reflection of the community. You got to get some white kids back in public education. I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
I think it might. I think if the schools are proven to be safe and insulated from community politics, if we can keep people out of the schools and out of the educational system that don't have any business in education, I think that goes a long way.
I'm going to say this, and I don't, it's Christmas Eve. I shouldn't be talking ugly. But there's one name and one person clearly responsible for the destruction of the public school system itself. And I'm not going to call that name.
You don't have to.
But that being said, Selma High School, when I was coming along, I mentioned this many times on the show. I went to Morgan, not because my parents were completely sold on private school. As a matter of fact, they didn't like it. But I had to go there because all of a sudden I became zoned for Keith. And they weren't going to let me ride a bus. Orville High School was in the process of, it had been rumored closing. And so about a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years before Orville officially closed and I would be going to Keith High School, they had put me into boarding. But back in those days, the brightest Selma High School became Selma High School when I was probably in the 8th grade, maybe the 9th grade. But it was Parish High School and Selma High School. Selma High School still through the 90s.
I remember because
through the 80s into the 90s was one of the most successful, productive schools in the state of
Alabama. And your buddy and my buddy, the former judge, attorney Tommy Jones, and I are classmates from Selma High.
Right.
And we had a ball. Although
Yeah.
we had some racial tension from time to time, but it was all in good faith.
You didn't
not
there
the kids.
There were no problem.
And so
it was Selma High at that point was at least 50-50.
That's right. The only thing we were complaining about was we did away with what was called duality. We said we don't want a black queen and a white queen or a black king and a white. Let the chips fall where they may.
Let the votes.
And we got rid of that. That was the only thing.
Well, I can't remember. I can't remember one single incident during that era, and we're talking the late 70s.
Right.
When you graduated.
Yeah, 77. I'm the class of 77.
Tommy Jones was 77, and I was a couple of years ahead of you guys. I can't remember one, and I had started working part-time at the TV station while I was still going to college. And I was doing grunt work in the news department.
Yeah.
I cannot remember an incident, racially involved incident at Parish High School or Selma High School. Can't remember. There may have been some, but
at the end of the day, the school system became a pawn of politics.
Absolutely. In 1990.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And so, but we're still paying the price for that. And I remember I was in the room when it was being planned.
That was by design. When public education came under attack, it created white flight.
And some black flight.
But it created white flight.
Yep.
And that's when the white folks moved out of the city. And what did that ultimately do?
And they pulled a lot of out.
That gave power to certain individuals.
Yeah.
Who wanted a completely black government, city and county.
Be careful what you ask for. You might get it.
We've been through it, Randy.
Lord.
When did you come to work for me at the TV station?
It had to have been 76. I think it was 76 or 77. No, it was 75.
It was later than that. No, it was after I was the operations manager.
You were, I remember, because that's right. I worked for you at Channel 8.
You were.
I was a switcher.
Control room.
Yeah, the control room.
Master control operator is what we called you.
With antiquated equipment at the time. Lord, have mercy.
But that would have been. I didn't become operations manager until 1980.
Yeah, but weren't you news director though? And you were hiring because you hired me for that position. You were doing something else. But I think it was 76.
Later than 76. Were you right out of high school?
I was still in high school. Because Ace, I don't know, Ace told me about the position and I applied, and so because I would work.
That means I was right out of college.
Yeah, you were, yeah.
So
you had black hair, man.
77. The earliest it could have been was 77.
Okay, well, 77 then. Yeah, it could have been 77. Yeah.
So
yeah. But but those are good old days. And so I missed the fact that we don't have a TV station based in Selma anymore. But then you don't have the economy to support it.
It
So
would be gone.
Yeah.
If you had a TV station based in Selma, it'd be out of business.
Yeah, right.
So it had to happen.
Right.
It had to. People still come up to me and say, "You moved the TV station to Montgomery."
I didn't move it, huh?
No, I didn't. I didn't physically do that. But I was part of the move because I knew, like anybody else with a half a brain,
Especially after Craig, huh?
when Craig closed, the TV station could not survive.
Right. No retail.
Craig closing was the single worst economic thing that ever happened. And we know why. Politics.
Again, back to
don't
politics.
blame it on Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter didn't know where he was half the time. and he was an okay guy. But he didn't kill Craig. John Sparkman and Jim Allen sold us out. They cut a deal with John Stennis in Mississippi, this U.S. senator from the great state of Mississippi. They cut a deal with him. He got Columbus Air Force Base, Air Training Command, shut Craig down, and they got the Army Missile Command in Huntsville because all they cared about was North Alabama.
Wow.
Period. End of story. Spin it any way you want to spin it.
That's the bottom line.
That's what happened.
Wow. Well, Mike, thanks for stopping in. You know, that's a good note for us to end on, to begin ending the year on. Looking forward to. I love the fact that Brenda Tuck is coming in.
She's great.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Wonderful. Yeah, that's wonderful.
She's and she is perfect to come be a part of the trail that Wayne has blazed.
Right.
Because he's done one hell of a job.
Right.
In the worst of circumstances. Look at the jobs and the industries that we have
come in, right?
And economic development that's occurred against all odds, literally against all odds.
Yeah, no doubt.
We wouldn't have Hyundai and the other suppliers out of Craig
if it wasn't for Wayne Barterman.
Without Wayne Barterman.
Yeah, we need to thank him one day somehow. Yep. Well, thanks so much. I think we're going over a little bit. He'll take a check,
He'll take a gift card.
Tell him I said hello.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yes, sir. And Merry Christmas to you, to the audience. Thank you for listening. I'll see you actually Sunday morning. I'm not going to be on Friday, but I will be here Sunday morning, 9:30-ish for Sunday morning gospel. Stay tuned for Fox News coming up next on WH3B Selma. They're already in progress, in fact. Merry Christmas.
116 points. S&P 500 gaining 5, but the Nasdaq is down 10 points. The price of oil is up a quarter, so they're about $58 a barrel. Gas is unchanged this morning. AAA's national average for regular remains